White cops chase black man. When they open his car door to arrest him, they're shocked. Let's meet Derek Johnson, a 28-year-old black man who, by day, works as a dedicated social worker, helping troubled youth in his community. He's respected, caring, and today utterly terrified as he glances in his rearview mirror to see multiple police cars trailing him. On the other side, we have Officer Brad Miller, a white police veteran known for his strict adherence to law and order. And next to him, Officer Jenny Clark, a new recruit with sharp instincts, eager to prove herself. They are in hot pursuit, believing they are about to apprehend a suspect involved in a recent crime spree. Welcome back to PlotTwister. Before we unravel today's mystery, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you're always in the loop. The chase begins on a Sunday afternoon when Derek, returning from a visit to a local high school, enters his car and begins his drive home. At the same moment, Officer Miller spots Derek's vehicle. It matches the description of a car recently involved in a robbery. Black, sleek, newer model. Without hesitation, Miller signals for Derek to pull over. Confused and anxious, Derek notices the police cruiser behind him, but thinks there must be some mistake. Perhaps they are after someone else. But when the sirens blare specifically at him, panic sets in. What would they want with him? Derek's mind races with confusion and fear, memories of news stories about misunderstandings with police that went horribly wrong flashing through his mind. As Derek accelerates, trying to find a safe space to pull over and clear up the apparent misunderstanding, Officer Clark watches his maneuvers. Unlike many they chase, Derek seemed careful not to cause harm, expertly navigating through traffic. His actions more desperate than dangerous. This observation causes a flicker of doubt in Jenny's mind, but the chase must go on. To the viewers, the tension is palpable. The chase isn't just a spectacle, it's the convergence of lives caught in a high-stakes misunderstanding. Derek, with everything to lose, drives on, surrounded by the sound of sirens and the weight of unknown outcomes. As they zoom past a park crowded with people, some start to record the unfolding drama. The scene is set, the players are in motion, and the story of this unexpected chase is just beginning to unfold. The chase intensifies as Derek's sleek black car weaves through the congested city streets, dodging cars and occasionally hopping onto the sidewalk, causing pedestrians to scatter. Each maneuver he makes is a testament to his desperation to evade what he perceives as an unjust capture. The siren's wail pierces the air, a relentless reminder that the situation is dire. Meanwhile, Officer Jenny Clark watches Derek's actions closely from the passenger seat of the police cruiser. Despite the high speeds and the dangerous maneuvers, she notices something unusual. Derek is desperately avoiding causing any harm. He doesn't ram other cars, and he swerves to miss pedestrians, which isn't typical of someone fleeing a crime scene. This observation plants a seed of doubt in her mind. Could there be more to this situation than meets the eye? Above, news helicopters begin to circle, broadcasting the chase live. This isn't just a minor incident anymore. It's unfolding into a major public spectacle. On the ground, people pull out their phones to capture the moment, adding layers of witnesses and growing the audience by the minute. As the pursuit continues, Derek's mind races back to moments of his day at the high school where he was just hours ago giving a talk on making positive life choices. He reflects on his own choices, how he always tries to stay on the right path, and yet here he is, misunderstood, fleeing for reasons not even fully clear to him. These flashbacks add depth to Derek's character, showing his commitment to his community and the stark contrast of his current predicament. Finally, seeing no end to the chase and feeling the pressure of the encircling police and the watchful eye of the public, Derek makes a decision. He turns into the parking lot of a crowded park, hoping the public setting will provide some safety and encourage a peaceful resolution. He stops the car, throws the key out of the window, and with hands raised, he waits, breathing heavily, his heart pounding out of his chest. As the officers draw their weapons and slowly approach, the tension peaks. The crowd holds their breath, the officers prepare for any outcome, and Derek braces himself, surrounded by the watchful eyes of a live audience, both on the ground and watching from their screens at home. The stage is set for a confrontation that none of them anticipated when the day began. As Derek's car comes to a halt in the middle of the park, officers Brad Miller and Jenny Clark step out of their patrol car, their figures tense and ready for any scenario. They approach Derek's vehicle with caution, their body cameras capturing every detail of the moment. The park is unusually silent, the atmosphere heavy with anticipation as onlookers hold their breath and watch the unfolding drama. Derek sits motionless in his car, his hands raised high and visible to show he isn't a threat. Through the tinted glass of his car window, his eyes meet Officer Clark's, conveying a silent plea for understanding. He tries to mouth words of explanation, hoping his intentions will be perceived correctly. However, the tension is thick, the officer's own adrenaline painting the scene with suspicion. The crowd around the scene grows, their murmurs and occasional shouts adding to the confusion. Some yell encouragements at Derek, others question the police actions, and amidst the chaos, communication between Derek and the officers becomes nearly impossible. The public's involvement escalates the situation, their phones recording every second, capturing the officers' every move. Inside the car, Derek's anxiety is palpable. He fears any sudden movement might be misinterpreted, exacerbating an already volatile situation. Officer Clark, observing Derek's distressed state and the public's reaction, starts to question the aggressive approach. Her training had prepared her for chases and confrontations, but the human element of this encounter makes her pause. She senses that Derek's actions might not be those of a guilty man trying to escape, but perhaps of someone caught in an overwhelming misunderstanding. Contrasting with Clark's growing doubts, Officer Miller remains focused on protocol. His voice is stern as he commands Derek to step out of the vehicle. With deliberate care, Derek opens the door and steps out, his movement slow and calculated to avoid any misinterpretation of his intentions. The moment the car door opens, the dynamic changes. The officers are ready for a confrontation, expecting to face a hardened criminal. But instead, they find a visibly shaken man who looks more frightened than fierce. This unexpected vulnerability causes a brief pause in the action, shifting the momentum of the interaction. Officer Clark steps slightly forward, her stance softening as she prepares to take over the situation, hoping to de-escalate and communicate more effectively with Derek. As the crowd watches, the scene is ripe for a revelation, setting the stage for truths to emerge in a situation fraught with tension and misunderstanding. As Officer Jenny Clark steps forward, her eyes scan the interior of Derek's car, bracing for the discovery of any contraband or evidence of wrongdoing. What she sees, however, is nothing of the sort. Instead, her gaze falls on several unexpected items that seem out of place in a typical police chase scenario. With the car door now wide open, Derek takes this opportunity to explain, his voice shaky but earnest. He begins to speak rapidly, gesturing towards the back seat laden with what appeared to be his personal belongings, his words tumbling out as he tries to bridge the gap of misunderstanding between him and the officers. Meanwhile, the crowd, having caught snippets of Derek's frantic explanation, shifts from apprehension to curiosity. Murmurs ripple through the onlookers as they try to piece together the story unfolding before them. Their initial tension gives way to a buzz of speculative conversation, with many beginning to vocalize support for Derek. Officer Clark, now processing what she sees and hears, signals to Officer Brad Miller to hold back. Her instincts as an officer merge with a growing comprehension of the unique nature of this case. She takes a moment to assess the situation afresh, piecing together Derek's rushed words and unusual contents of his vehicle. The officers confer briefly at the side of the car, their body language shifting from aggressive to investigative. Officer Clark takes the lead in questioning Derek, her tone more inquisitive than accusatory. She asks pointed questions, seeking clarity about his actions and the items in the car. Derek responds, his relief palpable as he begins to see a chance for understanding. As the dialogue continues, the atmosphere among the gathered crowd changes. The initial spectacle of a high-speed chase now transforms into a public witnessing of an unfolding human drama. People start to lower their phones, listening intently as fragments of the true story come to light. This part of the narrative culminates with Officer Clark stepping back towards the crowd, her expression a mixture of surprise and contemplation. The revelation about the true nature of Derek's urgency and the contents of his car begins to resonate with her, challenging her initial perceptions and altering the course of their encounter. The scene closes with the crowd quietly anticipating how the officers will resolve this unexpected situation. Their earlier agitation replaced by a collective empathy towards Derek. As the true context of the situation becomes clear, Officer Jenny Clark steps forward, her demeanor reflecting a new understanding. She turns to Officer Brad Miller, suggesting they help Derek with his urgent situation. The shift in the officers' approach is palpable as they transition from enforcers to helpers in a matter of moments. Derek, visibly relieved, cooperates fully, explaining in more detail his need for haste, which is tied to the unexpected items in his car. The officers, now in a supportive role, assist him in organizing the contents scattered in his vehicle and ensure he's able to proceed with his urgent personal matter. The surrounding crowd, having witnessed the change in the situation, begins to disperse, but not with the usual murmur of a spectacle concluded. Instead, there's a sense of communal relief and a buzz about the decency that unfolded. Some stay behind, discussing the event with a new perspective on police interactions, praising the officers for their final decisions. The media, which had been capturing every moment of the chase and standoff, now shifts its narrative. Reporters begin to highlight the human side of the incident, focusing on Derek's character and the officer's ultimate assist. The story, initially framed as another dynamic police chase, transforms into an example of empathy and understanding in law enforcement. Officer Clark and Derek exchange a few words, their conversation a mutual acknowledgement of the misunderstanding and the importance of communication. Officer Miller, observing the interaction, reflects on the day's events, realizing the impact of judgment and the power of empathy. Derek continues his work in the community, now with a new connection to local law enforcement. The incident spurs a local initiative led by Derek and supported by Officer Clark, aimed at improving community police relations. The initiative includes workshops, joint community events, and public discussions, fostering a deeper understanding and stronger bonds between the community and the police. This story does not end with conflict, but with cooperation and hope for a better understanding between the community and the police. This incident serves as a reminder of the humanity that can prevail in moments of crisis, transforming a potential tragedy into a powerful example of compassion and community collaboration. What are your thoughts on the twist we uncovered today? Comment your ideas below. Make sure to like and subscribe for a daily dose of drama and mystery. See you later with another twist.